Yes, family. So, greetings again, and coming to the I story. Excellent. So, as I said in my last episode, here I was in Zurich, Switzerland, and I can remember this rehearsal I had with a band by the name of the Caribbees. We used to play like Zouk and them kind of thing there. And yeah, we had a young lady who came in to rehearse with the band. Um, we actually needed a female vocalist. So, she came in and, yeah, we did our rehearsal. We had to do a second rehearsal. And actually, the gig was very much the same night. So, she didn't really have a specific, like, Caribbean clothing. Because, yeah, she's Latino and came from South America, so yeah. So, I said that, okay, I could basically have some stuff at the house. I had some dashiki things that I brought from Jamaica with me back then. We're talking about end of somewhere in the beginning of 1980. So, after the rehearsal, went over to my crib and, show her some stuff, and she took them out and, she chose something. And, yeah, like I say, I noticed from the first rehearsal that something had clicked. So, somewhat after she tried on the stuff, we hung out there in the crib. And, yeah, before you know it, it happened. So, it happened, and we went back to, see the band and get ready to move for the gig that night. And yeah, after that, me and she start to, like you say, date then, put it away there. And yeah, we start to hang out, and she started to tell me about her story and them kind of thing there. Why they brought her to Switzerland and them kind of thing there. So apparently the family had brought her to Switzerland because they wanted her to get a white man. And yeah, so now she was hanging out with a black man. And the brothers and family members weren't very happy with it. But she was kind of very determined, and she wasn't fully 18 as age. She was going to be 18 in a few months. So, she said to me, yeah, my family's screwing up. So, you know what, once I'm 18, I'm going to move out and we should just get married. So, things went on. And by the time she was 18, she moved out. She came and rested in my crib. And like I say, all kind of things start going, start to stress her and them kind of thing there. Especially her brother, And so she pick up a monkey man, so I'm a monkey man, put it that way. And yeah, so she came and lived with me in my crib, and the staff said, alright then, look, alright, if you want married, we married. Like I said, for me, it was more like, I don't even know why I made that decision, but it was just like, yeah, alright, let me try it out, you know what I mean? So, in the winter of that year, I think it was December, got married and thing, and yeah, brother came to the wedding and them kind of thing there, and rare. And so, we kind of decided that, alright, we want to go upon a little experiment, or just go upon a little travel, you know. So, we decided she liked Jamaica, so say, all right, we can go to Jamaica. So, did some works, and by the end of the winter, which I think was April that year, April, May, we bought our tickets and packed up all our stuff, and was on the way to Jamaica. It was a long trip. We went over Brussels, over Miami, over Miami to Jamaica. When we got to Miami, well, it was a long ride. So we took a train from Zurich to Brussels airport, and then grab a plane from there to Miami, and from Miami to Jamaica. So when we got to Miami, interestingly, I didn't have any problem, even though I had a Jamaican passport, but she had some problem because it was kind of weird, even though she had a Swiss passport, and half caste. So for whatever reason, them kind of hold on upon her, and say them have to make sure say she leave the country and things. So them kind of hold on upon her until the next flight was about to leave, until our flight was about to leave to Jamaica. So we got to Jamaica, and weird enough, got to Jamaica and check it out. All our luggage missing. Nothing no come. All of the suitcases. We had about maybe 7 or 8 suitcases, and none of them turn up. So I had to go through the whole procedure and them kind of thing. So I was in Jamaica with a Jamaican, almost having the clothes on my back. Luckily I had my trombone, with me on the plane. And so we kind of Jamaica, and I check out some people, and we settle in Montego Bay, run our hotel them called Jack Tar. Had a bridging working around there, Lawrence Lewis, and started to look around and say maybe we can start a gig back around with some of the man we know. Now funny enough, I came to Jamaica. I mean, all the people who I knew before I left were very much like, it's almost like they never wanted to play with me. I know if they had a complex or they got foreign and get some experience and do some studies and kind of thing there. But the man them just never really wanted to play with me, So it was a struggle. So, we just decided, alright, we'll start to get some shows then. Like, one man thing, going to some hotel and propose what I have, and do a little free show, make them see what I do, and see if them can give me some work once a week kind of thing for 1 hour. So that went down, did a few stints like that, but other than that, it was kind of rough. So I went up into the hills, St. Anne, where I come from, where I was born then, Golden Grove, and hang out there at the so-called family house for a while, and my mother and my brother them, and until we kind of decided, say, Jamaica kind of rough. Me can deal with it, but she don't know them kind of life there, so she decided, say, she'll go back to Venezuela. So her mother sent her a ticket for her, and she went back to Venezuela, and then it was my turn to kind of figure out things. Well, then to go Venezuela too. So after I think it was about 2 months or so, or 3 months, I kind of went through the whole procedure of getting a visa to go to Venezuela, and finally got that, and went to Venezuela. Now, dropping in Venezuela was like, of course, a kind of culture shock. But got there and stayed in Caracas for a little while. I think about a week or two at a place called El Valle, the Valley. And after that, kind of went out to the countryside where she come from, a place named Barlovento. So yeah, I got there and went to them family house and was very much on my trombone those days. So started practicing the trombone and some people hear me and them say, yeah, man, this is a wicked trombone player. So them introduced me to some orchestras that were in the area. And I remember there was one called La Magistral, and the other one I don't really remember the name, but she knew somebody was playing in the Monumental was the name of the group. She knew somebody was playing in La Monumental, and they gave me a little stint. And them love what I do and things, so them said, boy, wanted to play with our orchestra. So I started working with that salsa orchestra. Of course, it was a great experience now for me because after stinting with Henri Guidon in Europe, it was kind of interesting for me to have a direct insight of Latin music, like really being in an orchestra where you see how things are really done on a day-to-day basis and them kind of thing there. So quickly I kind of catch on and started to write some tunes and start to do some arrangement and stuff like that and propose them. And the man started to love what I was doing. Of course, it was kind of different in a way because I kind of bring in some other influences into it. But them start to love it and them decide some boy, I want you to gig with us. So we were like, 2 trombone player, 3 trumpet player, 2 saxophone players, a tenor. 3 saxophone, a tenor, a baritone, and an alto sax. 3 trumpet, 2 trombone. Big horn section, and did quite a few gigs with that band and thing. Then after a while, the so-called Black Friday came, and we had a lot of gigs and thing, and all of a sudden we had no gigs anymore. So it's like, I had to start to improvise now and look, how to get something done. So, I started kind of freelance, play with one orchestra here, one orchestra there, until I had a phone call from Caracas that said that there was a band by the name of Los Satélites who needed a trombone player. So, I went and do the audition, and like I said, man, them love it, them love my sound and things. So I started to gig with Los Satélites, which is back then was a big name. Them had some big hits like My Bar, them kind of thing. Them people who kind of know Latin music and salsa, them kind of thing there. So started gigging with Los Satélites, and that was going good. Like I said, it was slow, but that went on for a while. Then we had a deal to do a record and another record with recording company called Disco Moda. So we recorded an album called Las Perlas de Boca. It came out under the name Caribbean People. So maybe you can check that out. So this 15 minutes is done here, so watch out for the next episode and an itineration of the I story. Blessed love.